All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Phlox'em. We are a little bit short notice on this one, but glad to be doing it. Very excited. These are some awesome players, some fun decks, so really excited for this one. Um, KAGI round two top cut. We've got SithofAngmar versus Dammat. This has been fun. I've actually gotten to stream. I've only gotten to do a couple these top cut games, but I've gotten to stream the same people a couple of times. So this is the second time with Dammat as well. Dammat running the same deck we got to see last time. It's a pretty cool more mutation or mass mutation deck, right? We've got the Legacy Hysteria, got tons of creature control in this Logos with the triple diametric charges and standardized testing. We've got the autoencoder, Orb of Wonder, lots of interesting stuff going on here, but it is a grinder. Only 11 amber generation, more amber control than amber generation, but like I said, lots of creature control. So once this gets going, once it kind of gets that board put out, especially with these Infernuses, if you can destroy some creature control, deck can really take over fast. So it's kind of the game plan is just purge out all the answers until you can just basically do whatever you want with the board. Got the Cyberclone as well to get rid of any of those big board threats, and then plenty of stall and amber control along the way. So let's see. Okay, game is up, so we're going to talk about Sith's deck really quick. I don't know if I know this one. This is a DT deck. I don't know. So Sith was undefeated this season, I believe. I don't know if this is the same deck he's been using or not, but we got a DT deck here with also a decent amount of creature control. Double Crushing Charge is going to do a lot against Mass Mutation, which loves that 4 and below number point for creature control, but we also got the Tertiate, Spoils of Battle with some other stuff here, double Primus, and the Primus Ungus to make everything massive. Not great against the standardized charges, because that just takes out everything that is really big because of that. Some nasty stuff on the shadow side there. That Borrow is going to make this autoencoder not really worth playing. We've also got some creature control, some amber control, lots of standard stuff with the shadow side, and then we've got the Chelonia, Reap Not, Waste Not, sorry, Reaper So, Waste Not, Double Flume, Mollymawks, more Amber, artifact control there. Looks like a pretty straightforward deck. Lots of decent stuff. Not a ton of efficiency there, but it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Let's go ahead and get into this game. We have the new UI. Oh gosh, the new TCO UI. Again, says I'm in. That's a little bit funky. So I put in the password. Lots to get used to with the new UI. I'm really excited to see people that the team is working on this and trying to just make TCO better. That is like, it is incredibly valuable and a very can be a fairly thankless job because we don't see all of the things that they have to work through to get it going. But let's see, I did not get the deck names on here, so I'm gonna do that really quick. Some Trinity. I guess I could just do it from Dark Tidings, Quarrelsome Trinity. Yeah, that is a pretty nice name. Those the really short names are always really fun. Ooh, some new text and everything on here as well. Not too much different here for this. The one thing that would be like awesome, and I know this is a long-term goal, was if the blue on here was kind of replicating what we see on DOK, where you actually see what those different enhancements are. But I know on smaller screens, that's gonna be hard to see. Looks like we're doing okay. I'm gonna adjust this a little bit, move my face over. I think the new UI is looking all right for stuff. Lots more colors and borders on and things on the different like actions that are happening. So we'll have to kind of watch that, see if we're missing anything there. This is about my first time seeing the new UI, so we're going to be learning together how all this is going. But again, like super thankful that the team is working on this, trying to make it better. It is incredibly appreciated. New UI changes are always take some time to get used to, so there are things that you might at first be like, I'm not sure why they did that, but give it some time and we'll see how it goes. I know, especially when you're playing, I think is where that's where you really get the benefits. There's a lot of like cards being more like having borders and stuff, or having like highlights if you can do things with them and stuff like that. The actual like finding a game screen and stuff is a little bit trickier, or just a little bit more like you have to have new places to look for where like things are. If it's a game you can join and stuff, but I think in game there's some really, really nice things. You got all this going here, which is sort of like chunking out your different phases now in terms of like phases of the game. So you see all of your plays happening in here, and then the ready phase. So you're actually seeing kind of those different trigger windows and stuff, which is nice. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure who all is doing that. If Cryogen has been doing a lot of the actual work on the UI side. I know NedMike has been working a lot on like the coding and stuff. I don't know who does what necessarily. There's several people who have been working hard, but very, very thankful for the fact that we have this for one, and two, that there are people committed to making it better. And recently, I feel like there's been a ton more of that. Yeah, the borders on the lobby screen. I think it's something you gotta get used to and everything. Just your eyes are going to one place looking for like what you're used to looking for. So we kind of have to retrain the muscle memory and stuff for that, but we'll see. I'm sure they're always open to suggestions. Anyways, as far as the game that's actually happening, we had Dammat get some archives right away with the causal loop, and then Sith coming down with a nice untamed board. That Floomp is going to start making stuff really big. But again, Dammat's deck has plenty of amber control or creature control. Holy cow. Let me get the name on Whisperia. Quite our fun. I'm trying. I gotta get Dammat's name on there. Demokalova too. Yeah. Like I said, there's been a few people doing a lot of great work. But I think most of the time, if you're doing coding, you're kind of all doing like you all have your kind of areas, and UI is usually pretty like specific. Okay, got those up. So we did get the Grey Rider with the Angry Mob. Only 2 Angry Mobs in the deck, so did not go and grab anything else after there. Ooh, so the Borrow comes out. So trying to get some amber for this sack of coins, but that is all of the artifact control gone for Sith's deck. So Dammat is pretty safe to just play that auto encoder, I think. These decks are not going to be, or I think Sith's deck is not going to be flipping the deck very fast. So that could be really big. We get a discarded console Primus off the double new. Okay, those are huge. I haven't looked to see if there's new like settings for like the user preference settings and stuff. Again, the screen size for like the cards on the board and stuff is looking really good. I just might need to see if there's different settings for some of those things. And Furnace comes down, purges the Borrow too. Yeah, so now that artifact control is almost completely done for. Is there any way to get the Mollymawk back? There's no Witch of the Dawn, so yeah, that's scary. And then the sack of coins too is some nice creature control and stuff. This is a big board. There's a light and dark theme. Oh, interesting. I don't know what the light mode would look like. I feel like that'd be interesting. I'll see how that looks. I'll play around with this, but not right now. got a game to watch. So Sith going back into Untamed here, getting that Mookling back down. It was bounced from the what was it? Double Doom. There's no light mode. I didn't say it was morally correct to use light mode. I'm just saying it might exist, and I'll take a look at it for a second. Okay, so we fight the Mollymawk into the Infernus and then Waste Knot it to grab some cards, gets the Chelonia, gets the Old Patty down. So I think Old Patty, how many creatures are there? It's not like a crazy amount. It's a decent amount for Untamed. Shadows is definitely small. Honestly, Saurian is kind of small too. So I don't think this Old Patty is a super big part of the game. Match it with our Discord themes. You guys are, I don't know what's going on. But if you have light mode Discord, oh, that's like, I can't do it. There we go. There's one of those crushing charges. Again, getting lots of value against this mass mutation. We do get the Inspector purging the other console Primus. So one console Primus discarded off of a random discard, and then the other one getting purged randomly out of hand. So I don't know if those are like a huge deal, but like with the spoils of battle and stuff, you definitely want to be able to move some of that. The Gluttony is decent, but actually, well, I guess if you didn't play the Pterodactyl, it would actually kind of block your own creature control a little bit because you want to play those standardized testings. But if this remains the biggest creature, you can't really do that as well. But there we go. We see one of the standardized testings hitting that Pterodactyl. Discards the Cyberclone. I mean, I was going to get hit by the standardized anyways, but I could see that being a pretty... Maybe you don't really need it in this. I guess hitting a One-Eyed Willow would not be the worst, or purging the Chelonia so it doesn't come back. I do think this is going to be a tough match for the DT deck to win. I think it just probably doesn't have quite enough gas to outrace the Amber Control and Purging of the MM deck, especially now that the autoencoder and stuff is down. But we'll see. There's your One-Eyed Willow. We do get a Faust coming down stunned off the Imperial Road, just getting some extra efficiency off of that. Oh, and they got a little checkbox. Sith has checked. Dammat goes back into Logos. Get a Fission Bloom. I don't think there was a whole lot to Fission Bloom in this. Yeah, just the extra Amber off Diametric Charge. Discombobulator comes down too. That is actually fairly relevant in this. Walk the Plank. The Ransack is in here. One-Eyed Willow was killed, but yeah, I think Sith does need to find a way to kill this Gluttony pretty quick. Oh, the mole. I wonder if he could have done anything about it. Good. I didn't even notice that. That came down quick. Where was that? That was on this turn. Yeah, so a sneaky key there for Sith. Getting that Amber off. I would have had to call a different house to reap with it, but yeah. Maybe not quite worth leaving the One-Eyed Willow alive. All right, this Primus getting massive, about to get standardized probably. Yeah, getting that key is really big. What? Oh, reach advantage too for some extra capture. We'll see though. I think the thing is, you don't get to do that again. And again, your creature control especially starts just getting ripped out of your hands. Some of your Amber control too. But I could see that mole getting purged just in case it comes back. Second Infernus coming down. That is the third total, so this is the last one. I don't think there's... Oh, we could see the Hysteria here. Hysteria would be brutal. Yeah, so maybe I could see him just waiting to try and set this up, because now, like, if you get a Hysteria here with two more... Yeah, there it is. So you get the Primus off the board, all that captured Amber's back. You're just purging stuff like crazy. He's going for, yeah, a lot of the creature control. Gets the other artifact control. Yeah. So if you're just moving logo stuff to try and find this play, it's maybe a sacrifice he's just willing to make. He might have just missed it too. Like I missed it for sure. Not that I am like the standard of catching things that's going on in the board state, but Mole is not one we're used to seeing very often. It's one of those cards that can catch you off guard, especially when you're playing online and things happen without you noticing. So, okay, the Waste Knot and Booby Trap getting hit. I caught the check. Oh yeah, the check. Or was he at? Should it say check there? I guess it should, yeah. Yeah, I caught this, but I wasn't even thinking about how much hammer he actually had. Interesting. I do. That's okay. You know what? Just be glad I'm here. This is a barely thing. All right, so the Infernuses come back down, doing their stuff. We get several more discards coming down, including that Wrath, which has nothing to capture here. You can see Mole and Chilo. I mean, you can go for things that don't have Amber Pips on them right now. Maybe the Chelonia and Ransack or something like that. Ooh, self-purges some stuff there. Try and thin down his own deck. I mean, at this point, Sith is just going to have a tough time removing this board, right? That Wrath is really tough. Is it both crushing charges? Yeah, both crushing charges are gone already. The Tertiate's gone. We've got things like Persistence Hunting. Yeah, I think this is going to be a tough board to remove already for Sith, but we'll see. Could still be able to outrace this. Be tough, but especially with a lot of your Untamed gone already. Yeah, but it is one of those things, like once you play it once, it gets purged anyways, so like maybe it's not as big of a deal. Maybe it's better to try and get that key fast. But that early in the game, I think, is different. If it's like later in the game and he's already like held or discarded the autoencoder, then it's fine. But yeah, so that'll be interesting game 2 to see what happens there. Dammat goes very fast here into Sanctum. Sith just getting a little bit of amber there. The Primus gets purged. Dammat goes up to check here on 6 and has a very nasty board. Sith still getting some amber though with the early birds. That one fairly safe from the Infernuses for a little bit now. Getting his own artifacts down. Stops the key with the old Bruno. I will say, like, the resolution looks crisper. I don't know if you can tell that on the screen, but like the art on the cards feels like it is popping out more to me. Maybe that's just like I keep playing on my smaller screen and not on here, but it looks very crisp. But maybe that's just normal. And I just don't pay attention to those things. No, I agree, Quick Draw. I think there's holding it can be a pretty big slowdown of Dammat's deck, but we haven't seen a ton of discarding from Dammat's deck either. Like, I don't think he's actually used the autoencoder a whole lot, has he? Maybe he did there. Like, all this stuff getting played. All this Logos. Yeah, I don't feel like there was. Even this turn, he discarded the Cyberclone, but that was basically it. So, yeah. Yeah, no, in this game, especially where we're at with all of the creature control coming pretty early for Sith. Grabbing this Orb of Wonder too would be pretty nice with that borrow. Yeah, it's still doing that. So that was something that was happening before the UI change. I know they are aware of the issue, but obviously not fixed yet in the UI change. It's unfortunate. This is one of those things, if we were trying to do like the log statistics for like Final Refrain or whatever, that'd be such a pain. All right, Dammat gets back up to check, is able to clear the whole board there with some Sanctum stuff going on. Font of the Eye comes down. It's going to make it very difficult for Sith to forge key again here. And no key cheats for Sith. Has flipped the deck, but not quite sure what you do from here. Gotta kill this Gorvanal to slow down some of the amber control. You could concede that is technically an option right now. I don't know if he's that resigned yet, but it is not looking great. This is definitely tough. Yeah, I'm usually a play it out person for sure, but especially if you're on a time crunch, I wouldn't fault anyone for it. In this situation, it looks pretty rough. Okay, now we're starting to see some discarding. The Logos Call is probably means a slower turn here. Ooh, Cyberclone. In case you thought you were safe from all the purges. The one thing for Sith is if he just leaves these two Infernus alive, he can actually kind of get value off of his pips again for a bit, because like you don't necessarily want to Hysteria this board at this point. Fission Blooms gets a Discombobulator down, so that'll slow down some of that Shadows that is still in the deck. The Ransack, I think, got shuffled back in, right? That didn't get purged. Yeah. And Sith is pretty low on ways to deal with this stuff now. Amber Control, the Spoils of Battle, I think, got purged. The Faust is gone. So without the ability to steal, you'd still have the old Bruno, which is in your discard right now. So might just be back into Untamed for some flume fighting. Ritual of Balance. Just keep working away at this board. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't look good for Sith for sure. The mod up to an archives of 4 now as well. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. Hope things are okay. Wipe clear just destroys upgrades, right? Trying to remember. So it's actually not bad to remove the Discombobulator. Need some holding music for these times. I'm not going to make you listen to the Peanut Butter Phlox'em time again, though. I feel bad. Like, I hardly ever actually hear it because I just have it playing during the starting screen. So it's just like, you all probably know that song better than I do. Yeah, we were gonna look at that actually. We can do that here while we've got Good took a nice win against Jay Philippeg. That was a intense game too. So this is what I was saying. It's very fun. I've gotten to kind of follow all the matches in this area so far, which is cool. But doing some scouting here. They did not put a timer on this game too, so again, hopefully everything is all right for on Sith's side, but we'll just see. I also wonder though, like what do we think is sort of the trick with this DT deck? It doesn't feel like even on like the Untamed turns. Like with the Chelonia down, you can get a decent amount of amber if you get a good waste knot, but it's not like crazy. And again, you don't have a key cheat. I think you really are trying to get the big shadows board or the shadows board with like the Ungus down. It's like those one-eyed willows, if they get huge because of an Unguis, they're really good. Saurian is kind of, I mean, it's got your creature control and stuff, but outside of Faust and those console premises, I think you really actually need to try and move some of that captured amber from like the reach advantage and spoils. This could be a lot of chains though. Like this MM deck kind of has an inevitability win con against this, and so yeah, be a lot of chains. Yeah, the Infernuses are definitely tough for it. And the creature control too, right? Like that's the other issue is you've got so much creature control on this side. The Hysterias don't feel good. The Double Doom doesn't feel great. Like you have very few play effects over here. You don't really want to be getting those bounced. So the Hysteria too is pretty awful. Cyberclone. I think kind of like you're saying, quick draw, a lot of it comes down to being able to hold off the artifacts so that the deck can't ramp up fast enough. You don't really have a way to bounce the. We say that the Mollymawk, there's not really a good way to bounce that unless it gets bounced by like a Hysteria or something from the other side. I think maybe not playing, like trying to play, it's tough because you're going to have to play the Crushing Charge just to kill the MM board a decent amount of the time. I was going to say you could try to play below the highest creature strength on the MM side a lot. So like not playing the Pterodactyl and stuff. Not playing the Unguis would be tough. But just trying to keep in that mid-range just so that the board clears are less effective against you. But I mean, I think if you're not reaping with or fighting with creatures in this deck, you're going to have a hard time winning anyways. Mole is interesting. If you play the Mole on like Gorvenal here, that could be pretty nice. That didn't get purged, right? Yeah, that's an interesting one. I consider purging that. But now at this point, it's just a matter of time before the Gluttony comes back down, and then this gets a lot scarier. But at this point in the game, I don't know that it really matters if anything will happen fast enough to beat this MM. Ah, kid got sick. That is very unfortunate. Trying to remember, I don't think the kid is very old yet. It's a young kiddo. Also, it's unfortunate to come from a very rough real life situation back into a very rough Keyforge situation. Things aren't looking good either way. But it's adaptive, so, you know, even if game one is lost, you can always come back into it. All right, so we see Saurian turn, some creatures coming down, reach advantage onto the Pterodactyl. Doesn't really matter here because standardize kills your whole board anyways, but we've got the disc turn. This could be the Double Doom. Nasty. Discards the Moogling too, so that's the Amber control. Why did the reach advantage stopped the key? But I mean, Dammat still hasn't been able to get that key. First key has been held off a lot. There's a decent amount of Amber control in this deck. But I think it's gonna start snowballing fast here. Gets the Enrage on Console Primus, gets the Pride down. See if there's the Gluttony. Coming in on the right. Not behind a taunt, but there's not really ready in fight. I don't know what creature control you have left to deal with that. Sack of Coins is gone. Booby Trap is gone. Persistent Hunting is in the discard. Yeah. It's not good. There's an Infernus coming down. Gonna get more stuff. Persistent Hunting and Mookling. Fights, gets an extra capture on the Gorvenal there. Oh, maybe there's no Amber to capture because of the Infernus. Goes up to 12. I think Sith's answers are about done. Ransack for nothing because of the Cyberclone. Very unfortunate because it looks like it hit several. One-Eyed Willow and Early Birds would have been Steel 3. Yeah, this Gluttony being down is just death. Secret Needle can kill one of the Infernus there for an extra Amber, but... Oh, does get the mole down on the Gorvenal, but it's one turn too late because you can just Gluttony it off now. Man, so it's close. That would have made this at least a little bit more interesting, but with such a small deck at this point, and the Orb of Wonder, those basically, like Dammat was basically ensured to get the Gluttony down in time, so unfortunate. But that will be one of the pieces to look for, I think, in that game 3 is that mole. But you have to have ways of dealing with the Gluttony, which you're already low on creature control to kill it. Because like the crushing charges don't do it, you really need like the Tertiate or Sack of Coins with Booby Trap or something. Like it's not easy for the DT deck to kill that in general, especially if this Pride comes down. So this is tough. This is going to be a lot of chains, I think. I don't know what you do with this matchup. Which is crazy because like the SAS difference was like, what, 3 SAS or whatever, but this just answer. Okay, so we do get the concede there from Sith. So we'll see the game 2 starting. I think that's fair at this point. This deck does not deal with 22 Amber. We'll get the rematch and swap decks. We'll go ahead and give Dammat game 1. Interesting. Dammat's already expecting the crash. No, we're fine. It's all good. Yeah. MM went first. Causal loop turn 1. I remember that. Okay, so I expect Dammat to hold off on the borrow for a little bit longer. I am still not sure if it really gets you. I mean, can you just hold it the whole game? Like, how long do you hold it? Because if you're Sith, you probably just play every artifact except autoencoder. That's like the only one you can't give up here. You don't have any of your own artifact control, right? So whatever you give is staying over there, but as soon as it's in the discard, it's getting the borrow's getting purged, right? Like the Dominator Bauble is kind of whatever. The Fission Bloom is not doing huge things here. You get some extra capture or whatever. Orb of Wonder, like I said, is kind of scary. Font of the Eye is a little bit scary, but again, I think it's all just band-aiding what is inevitable in this matchup. So we see the Wrath come down early again, one of the cards that the DT deck can deal with until maybe the Pride comes down, but it is still an annoying one if you really need to reap with your creatures in this matchup. Some Stanksome stuff coming down here for not too much value on the Squire Alice there. No value on the Squire Alice because there's no Amber in the game yet. You see the Tertiate come out early. So again, this is one of the few cards that can actually kill Gluttony. So seeing it this early is tough. But I do think you need to get rid of some of those bigger bodies here. Things you can't kill, or the Anathiel you can't kill also without some of those other cards. Primus comes down, Mookling is down here, so we could see just standardize dealing with some of these bigger creatures. We actually get a Consul Primus on the board after them getting all purged or discarded until the very end there, so we'll see if that gets any value. Sith just playing out some stuff. There's that Orb of Wonder, seeing if we can tease out some artifact control. If not, what do you hit with the Orb of Wonder? I could see you grabbing like an extra Infernus if you have Hysteria, or the Hysteria if you have like 2 Infernus, but you need to wait till longer in the game for those Infernuses to really have much effect. So maybe some creature control if you don't have it, but again, you wait a turn, you're going to find it pretty easily. Oh, angry mobs and discards the whole deck. All right, so if you are Dammat, you get some really good info here, and it is not what you want to see. There is mostly dis. There's a lot of dis left in Sith's hand right now. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 of these 7 cards are dis. Is that what we're counting? Yeah, so you've got the Hysteria, you've got the Infernuses, you've got Pride, Dominator Bobble, Waking Nightmare. I think we saw double Dominator Bobble's in there, and Double Doom is gone. Okay, so but the Hysteria alone does not feel good. Yeah, it doesn't do a lot of value, but you're also gonna flip the deck soon, so like they might as well just do it. You could purge stuff from your own deck here too, just to get you faster back to some of those things. But that is interesting. The Angry Mob is one of those cards, like, I wonder if it is actually worth using or fighting with in this deck, because there's only 2 of them. So, like, there's a decent chance you mill half your deck or more anytime you play it. All right. Dammat's going back into Starry and does the reach advantage here. So that's the one thing is Dammat knows now. Both standardized are gone. So there's actually some decent chance of this stuff staying alive. If it's a discard, yeah, that's probably correct to just grab that last card. Okay, we do see the disc call. There's the Inference. The problem is that your Hysteria hits this stuff back into your hand, which is not amazing. You have some fine targets here, though, to purge. Oh, gas is a drop hip, so it doesn't have to use it anyways. Nice. That's fortunate. It'd be funny if Angry Mob looked in both players' decks for more Angry Mobs. That'd make a lot more synergy with Infernus. Except that they would basically just flip the deck every time after doing that. Oh yeah, the Infernus or the Hysteria with the draw lets him flip the deck. Good call. That's nasty. What do you get here? I mean, probably just get like Gluttony, right? We saw that in the discard. You could do a double doom here if you wanted. You could play the other one first to purge a few things from your deck. Because you kind of purged everything you need to from Dammat's deck here. Yeah, but you only get to do that once because of the flipping the deck. It's too bad this didn't happen later in the game. If this was like a turn or two later and you had more stuff in Dammat's deck, this would be so brutal. Purges both standardized. Okay. You do still have to deal with those. Crushing charges. But I guess with, yeah, bowl standardized is interesting because that Primus is going to come down now. How do you deal with the Primus? I guess Double Doom or Hysteria because there's no wards in here, right? Yeah, maybe you're not super scared. I feel like keeping one of those would be... Okay, we do see the orb. See what he grabs. This is already a pretty nice board, though. Pride is here, so yeah, this is where I'm probably grabbing Gluttony. Yeah. Because other Infernus doesn't help you. You could just get Dominator Bobble out of the way, but that probably just gets borrowed or blown up by a Mollymawk. Wrath is not super helpful. Yeah. The Crushing Pride is what would really make this not great, but you still get to keep Bonesaw and Gluttony here. So this is one thing, like I would say, I noticed this before with the Mott's deck, is that it doesn't tell you, it goes for Wrath. Interesting. Do you think he redrew it now? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, so now one Crushing Charge deals with all but one of these. But if you don't have it here, you're in a lot of trouble. I guess the Wrath lets you deal with the Primus if it comes back down. But we do get a Shadow's Call here. This will probably just be some stealing. Yeah, get a Ransack. Hits the Mole. Okay, so hitting Mole is big. Again, that's one of the ones that was a little bit sneaky good on the DT side. I was going to say, though, is this does not tell you what card it grabbed. It's not this supposed to tell the opponent? That's so interesting. Yeah, I guess, I mean, it doesn't say reveal on it, so that is fine. It's just normally, there's very few things where you don't reveal. But because it's not saying anything, like the card has to have any specific attribute, I guess that makes sense. Like you don't have to say, oh, it is this house or it is, you know, whatever. Hits the Booby Trap, which takes out the Imp Spectre, purging a Consul Primus. So Consul Primus, again, just getting stepped on in this matchup. I was going to say, though, is what would be really interesting from Sith's side is if he actually redrew into the Wrath with the draw pip and actually went and grabbed the Hysteria just to wait a turn for it, for Dammat to put more stuff in the discard. But we do see the Logo's turn here, so that would have been pretty cool. Because it doesn't tell you, like if it tells your opponent that, then your opponent probably does some stuff to try and play around that, but it would have been an interesting play at least. Sith here in Logos is facing check at 8, so Dammat getting a nice burst there on that turn, doing some stealing. We do see the Borrow getting played too. I don't know, I missed that. So Borrow in the discard now is pretty nice for Sith. Diametric Charge comes out for some extra amber. Having to hit his own stuff, though. All right, so Sith needs to start getting on the amber control train. Going back into Dis here. Needs to take out this Chelonia. Did he replay Double Doom already? No. So Double Doom could be here. Otherwise, you're going to have to fight. Okay, we do see the fighting. Reaps with the Bonesaw. There's another Infernus. You definitely hit the Borrow now. Probably the Mole. Again, that one just being a little bit scary. Maybe the Booby Trap too. Just again, trying to remove all the creature control first. Yep, goes for the Borrow and the Mole. Okay. Let's see if he's got the Hysteria. Double Doom discards the Primus. What is it with these random hits on the Primuses? It's like the 4th time it has been randomly discarded or purged from hand. We do see the Hysteria, which is brutal. So that's going to purge most of the rest of this discard. Not too much amber left in there, so you might actually prioritize the non-pipped stuff like the Ransack, the Chelonia, the Walk the Blank. Just to leave that in there for later. Get the draw pip off that Infernus here. Which disc do we have left? Played a lot already, but again, still looking for that Gluttony. Gets the Booby Trap and the Chelonia. I just still can't believe that with these Primuses. It's just rough. Okay, Dammat doing a quick Shadows turn here. Does do some capture, but I think we're kind of reaching that point where it's going to be tough for this deck to crawl its way back in. It does have the creature control still, right? We do still have 2 crushing charges. We haven't seen either of those yet. But you're not gaining a whole lot of amber on those turns. And again, with the Borrow gone, you can start playing all those artifacts. So we'll start seeing that line get out there, which will make Sith's deck smaller. Just make the looping of the Infernuses that much faster. Oh, we get a Smite with the Wrath. Fights the old Bruno. Okay, yeah, kills the One-Eyed Willa. Enrages the Bruno. Plays the Anger Mob. Don't fight with it again. Okay, he's got both of them. So now they just free mill the deck. So maybe that's actually, like, the one thing that's nice about that is as soon as, well, these would get killed by a Crushing Charge, which would also kill these. But I was going to say, as soon as they get killed, you could Angry Mob to flip the deck on purpose to get those back into circulation. But I imagine this gets hit by a Crushing Charge here. Again, the Amber generation for this Match Mutation deck is not high. It wins by building a board that you can no longer deal with because half of your deck is purged. It doesn't have much of a different win con here. I see the Untamed though, so no Crushing Charges yet. This could be a Persistence Hunting. Reaper Sows to put some power on Flumph to draw off the Waste Knot. Okay, so draws 3 here. Finds an old Patty, and we'll have to, yeah. I was going to say, it might have picked up the Mollymawk, but would have to discard it anyways, because you'd have to hit one of your own archive or artifacts here. Yeah, so we haven't seen that one get played yet, so Mollymawk could still blow up some stuff, but I imagine we start seeing these artifacts start coming down. Sith in no rush to start reaping with his board, expecting it to get blown up soon anyways. Just going to get the efficiency going to be able to flip the deck. Plays the Cyberclone, hitting the Patty. Okay. It does keep that alive past a Crushing Charge, but I don't know if you actually want it to so much. Discombobulator goes on one of the things that also survives. I've seen most of the steal so far, but even the Ritual of Balance gets turned off by that. So, all right, so now we're seeing some discarding for the autoencoder. So now it's just a, I'd say, waiting game. He's still going to be doing stuff, but we have to wait for the game to end. It's not necessarily, I mean, because of the Crushing Charges still being in, it's not necessarily over. Dammat may be trying to hold those, or hold one of them at least until you're about to flip the deck so you can keep one in circulation, because this does go pretty slow if you hold those, but you just run out of ways to generate amber. I guess if you get the Unguis down with some amber on it, it maybe survives for a long time. So like here, yeah, you're going to kill the Wrath, which is one of the few things that could kill the Unguis easily, but there's still so many answers in this deck besides the standardized, which were purged. Yeah, I mean the reaping term, but Sithar also knows like you've got like the spoils of battle is still in there, so you're probably not forging that turn anyways. So it's kind of like getting the discombobulator down stops any further shadow stuff. This is something that like Dammat has to deal with now to be able to get really the value he needs to win this. Um, but yeah, I could have also seen an argument for reaping there, holding the cyberclone for another turn, maybe to take out this Primus because that's one of the few things that is like not impossible to deal with, but a little bit trickier. Looks like yeah, plays the Faust. Still no crushing charge. Crazy. So now I would reap. If I was Sith here, I would just try to get some value with this board before it gets blown up. Probably see that Orb of Wonder come back down to. If he takes the archives here. I mean, the Fangs also take it. Like, there's so many ways to deal with this Primus too. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you win with this DT deck. Oh, there's a Grey Rider going to use the Wrath on that Primus. Get it taken care of right away. Enrages the Faust. Corvinal comes down. Could have done that in the other order for a capture, but again, expecting it to all just get blown up to a rushing charge anyways. Font of the Eye finally comes down, gets a capture. Onto the Cyberclone. There's a Bring Low just for some Amber. So should get to check here. The Reaping, I would expect. Oh, is going to fight off the old Bruno. I think that's fair. You don't mill yourself with Angry Mob or anything, so I think, honestly, I don't know. I think maybe you reap there because, like, Dammat has to crushing charge this board, and that's just going to kill the Bruno anyways. You get to check either way. I guess you get to check at one more. I'm trying to think of what else is left for Amber control here. Because I can't steal. Old Bruno's gone, so not capturing with that. The spoils was gone. Yeah, I think you could just reap there. But again, it kind of doesn't matter at this point, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know how the DT deck comes back here. You get to blow up the board, but I guess you do kill the Infernuses after the deck flips, so only one Infernus left with the Hysteria now for Sith. But Sith does get the key, and then the Pterodactyl coming down again, one of those things that like you have less ways to kill it, but you still have plenty of ways to kill if you're Sith. And now I think you're just kind of... Did I miss? Oh, the Crushing Charge has chains. I was like, I feel like there's been a couple times where Dammat's been on a 5-card hand and I've missed why. I think one of them was from the Inspector, and then this one was from the Crushing Charge chain, which is like... I don't know if that card needed a chain. It's a little rough. But it's fine. All right, Sith going into this here. Rapes with the Bonesaw. Should have... Actually, could have a decent amount of the Sins coming back down. But you do still have another Crushing Charge probably waiting. Okay, no, for sure did not need 2 chains. That card almost could have had an Amber Pip on it. Holy cow, for how bad that house is. Discards the Hysteria. Okay, I mean, that's fair at this point, I think. Keep building that Archives. Got the Gluttony down now, so again, that's going to be threatening with this Captured Amber. Not too much else. Shadow's turn here, so we are going to see the Secret Needle be able to take out the Bonesaw, which will remove the Discombobulator, so you will have some ways to steal again, or you will have the ability to steal again. You have to find those cards. Actually, think the only cards that steal are already gone besides One-Eyed Willows. Did Walk the Plank? No, Walk the Plank is still there, but either way, gets some amber off of that, off the Seeker Needle shot. Imagine this is not going to be a huge turn, though. What else have we not seen? Sack of Coins? Did Sack of Coins get purged? No, that should be in there. And you're safe to play it now because you're going to flip the deck. Maybe just wishes it was one more amber on it. Monty Bank is going to come down and capture one. Am I blind? Did I see the... Yeah, I think we haven't seen it yet, right? There's a sack of coins. Okay. That'll take out the Cyberclone. Okay, gets to check. And do still have one Infernus in deck. But a lot of the Amber control is actually gone right now for Sith. So we'll see. Could do Font of the Eye stuff. Gonna be a Logos turn though. See if he takes the archives here. Yeah, Logos should be able to capture onto Gluttony because you just need to do a diametric charge, kills both of these, and you get to capture one. And there are still 3 of those in the deck. Does this mean he did not take? Okay, so didn't take the archive still. Yep, able to take out all that shadows. We're able to Font of the Eye to stop the key, make Gluttony scary again, discards Infomorph, Causal Loop. The font. And that's it. Okay. So again, you're running low on pips to hit with the Infernuses here. But Dammat needs to deal with this Gluttony pretty fast. We know he's still got the other Crushing Charge in hand. We didn't see that go. Just trying to find some way to win with this DT deck here. We didn't see Mollymawk either, did we? I think he's... maybe he's drawn into more Untamed now. That's tough. Do you even hit the autoencoder at this point, or do you go for like the Font of the Eye? Ooh, is able to Reaper so to unstun the Pterodactyl. That's nice. There's the Mollymawk. I think you... Okay, so it does go for the autoencoder. And gets back into check. So Sith probably wanting to go in Dis turn here, get the Infernus down, stop the key. But might be priced into just a Sanctum turn. Maybe have to give the key up. The Pterodactyl still doesn't kill this like in a turn. Would need to find... I don't really think it has a way to do that. No, he purged both of them on that early turn where he purged everything basically into Dammat's discard and then still had some Infernuses left. I'm okay with purging one of them, but yeah, I definitely would have purged like the Causal Loop or something on the second. Because Because, yeah, just hitting like Pterodactyl or whatever would be so nice. You do have other options, right? You've got like, this could just be the Gizelhart's Wrath or whatever, or Fangs of Gizelhart, yeah. So you still deal with it, but... Oh, it has the Bring Low. Stop the key, get more on Gluttony here. Onto the eye, not going to do anything, but doesn't flip the deck still. Oh, has the Sack of Coins for 6. Wow. Okay, big play there for Dammat. Very big amber gain. Yikes. A little scary for Sith here. Had way too many slow turns there at the end. Still has an Archives of 6. But only 1 Infernus, no Hysteria here. All your Squires are in the discard already. You just played your Bring Low. That Sack of Coins coming back around is very, very bad for Sith. This one-eyed Willet too, you got to take care of, otherwise that's going to start stealing. Okay, there's a double doom to deal with that, and discard the Crushing Charge so you can purge one of those two. There's your Infernus. Probably has to go for Amber Pips here instead of the Crushing Charge, but really want to get rid of that Sack of Coins for sure. So this is looking like a much closer game than game 1. Trying to think exactly what's caused that. Just the Crushing Charges coming later, probably. And Sith, I don't know, it's very hard with a deck like this to not try and force the setup rather than just playing cards. Like even discarding your creatures for autoencoder versus just playing them creates that pressure to where Dammat has to choose between doing something like the Sack of Coins or a Crushing Charge on that turn. So I think that's like, it's a good adaptive deck because it's kind of tricky to actually know when it's worth the autoencoder value versus that board pressure persistence. Dammat though does get that second key. Sith goes up to check here. Gets the Inspector down. Untamed means no key because of the Ritual of Balance. Can be able to steal there. Meliobi coming down. And the Flumph. Again, Sith has flipped the deck now. So could be finding like the Hysteria or whatever. Doesn't look like Dammat's gonna be able to flip the deck here, so everything in discard, but there's no more pips. Oh, there is 1 pip in discard. Persistent hunting. Faust comes down, does not exalt though. Really, you're just getting these out for efficiency. So the creature control now kind of more on Sith's side, needing that. I mean, kind of. If Dammat goes back into Untamed, is that hurting you? I mean, it's a decent amount of amber, I guess, especially with the ritual stopping or stealing. We'll see what Sith can find here. I mean, still 6 in Archives. Like, there's got to be some decent answers in there. We did get the 1 Crushing Charge purged, but there is still 1 in the deck. See Logos getting called, so this will probably just be some diametric charges and stuff. Untamed is scary, but you don't have the Chelonia or Mookling anymore, so like if you're going to 7 consistently, the ritual isn't helping you, but this deck is not doing that, right? it's not moving that fast. But yeah, this is at 4 amber showing 4 amber that Infernus doesn't deal with well because it's not pipped amber. So we'll see what he finds. But yeah, I bet he's probably punching himself a little bit on having purged both of those at this point. Although it really only hits this and then the Inspector. Okay, autoencoder comes back down. Safe from the Mollymawk that's already on the board. There's a diametric charge. I think you probably try to kill the Meliob, so you hit like the console. Maybe, no, yeah, you hit the Flume so you can get the Faust too. Make sure that there's not taxing if was Spoils purged? Spoils did not get purged, so there's still some amber control left in here. Discards the creatures again. Did have that second diametric charge. But this is still going to be a check if Dammat goes back into Untamed. Ooh, it's not because of the Font of the Eye. Dammat should be able to flip the deck here, though. Only 2 cards left in draw. And not really worth... Ooh, plays the early bird, so that getting flipped in there again. And the Walk the Plank is some nice steal. Oh, you maybe just Secret Needle your Flumph. Does he have one more card to play, though? Something to Imperial Road down? If he doesn't flip the deck here, I think he's in a world of trouble. Does have one more card. All right. And the old Bruno. Oh, and the Primus. All right. Very big turn there. So deck gets flipped. Goes to check. Infernus has to hit your own side now to be able to stop this key. But you've got the diametric charges. I think you're fine hitting those here. I think you want to... Can you kill anything here? You could fight the Bruno. So Inspector, fight into the Bruno, bounce, then purge that. I think you do need to start purging some of this shadows because otherwise you're going to get a lot of this kind of cycling happening. Okay, so here's going to be an Infernus purging self. Could just be one diametric here. Oh, goes for both of them. Okay. There's the second. So this is probably a Hysteria. Which is a little rough because you don't really get anything else to purge from there. Old Bruno goes back to hand. This is where I would consider fighting the old Bruno instead, because putting it back to hand doesn't really help you. It just comes back down. There's the Gluttony. Okay, that's definitely bigger. Also, probably means no Hysteria here. I guess maybe you have to kill the One-Eyed Willa instead. Yeah, gonna fight the Infernus and then fight the Inspector into purge card. Purges another One-Eyed Willa. And you get to do another capture on Font from that. Dammat not in a great position to kill this Gluttony with the current board, but again, we do have the Sack of Coins got thrown in there. I mean, Dammat still could pull this out. This is getting really close. Very, very scary for Sith. There's another capture. So if all you have is the Sack of Coins, you can Reap with Bruno, do 5 with Sack of Coins, and then Secret Needle the Gluttony. That puts you up to 8. That's not bad. Especially with Sith not like threatening or anything. But Sith is also on 8 cards in archives. Like at some point, that just gets pulled, right? What do we have in there? Just a bunch of Logos and Sanctum at this point. It's got to be a little bit of Dis. I think he's done a decent job of getting it down to mostly Dis in his draws. It's not a Snap Shadows call, so maybe no. Oh, the Sack of Coins was purged. Okay, never mind then. Crushing Charge doesn't feel great here because it kills your Bruno. I think you just gotta find ways to get to 7 Amber. Get out of the font range. Going Sar in here. Unstunned. There's just Spoils. Spoils. Ugh. Load. I don't know why that's not loading. It loads from there, but not here. Weird. That's a funky UI thing. Yeah, I was gonna say that puts more Amber on the Gluttony from your side. And then does Crushing Charge because the Primus is able to make everything big on this side. So that works out well. Yeah, I think not getting this purged early in the game is definitely biting Sith a little bit here. But we do get a Reap with the Gluttony. That'll feel pretty good. Could just be the Hysteria after that. That would not feel too bad. It does give back the Mollymawk, but it puts you at a really nice Amber total. Sets you up to play a bunch of Sanctum next turn with Capture, so that the Gluttony is really scary again. I think he's going to turn around, but it's close. Oh, that's it. Yeah, this is a close one. Again, though, I think if you go Untamed here, you probably need to kill that font. Maybe you wait a turn to go Untamed. I think probably replay like the Saurian or something. Because you wait, if you have the Persistence Hunting, you can wait a turn. Well, yeah. Problem is you want a Persistence Hunting the Dis, so then the Sanctum can all just sit there and reap for a turn anyway, so maybe it doesn't matter. You probably take out the Font of the Eye now. You do get a steal with Untamed, but I don't know if you have... Yeah, I guess if you can get to check and Untamed this turn, maybe it's worth it. Maybe not, because again, with all the Sanctum, that's probably sitting in hand and archive. That could punish you pretty bad, especially if you don't find a way to kill the Gluttony, or if you play your Persistence Hunting and then can't play it again to stop the Gluttony the turn after. I'll check this again. Why was this? That one load. Weird. It's like just spoils a battle, but just in the log where it's coming up really blurry. I wonder if that has to do with the enhancement being on it or something. Okay, go Shadows. Gets a steal off Walk the Plank. We'll see. Can he stop this key? I don't think so, right? Ransack is gone. Puts down... Oh, can tax it, though. Oh, can stop the key with the Faust. Brutal. Oh, man, Monty Bank just keeping it going. All right. We're still in this. This game 3 is going to take some time. I don't know if I had enough time for this long of a game 3. Not what I was hoping for. Sith has to have found some Amber control here, though. I mean, if nothing else, you can fight with Gluttony and then Font of the Eye. But that doesn't feel great. Could have Cyberclone or something, but that doesn't stop the key. Logos actually can't stop the key, right? You'd have to have 2 diametric charge, but we already know 2 got purged. If you have Smite with Sanctum, you could probably do some stuff pretty easily to stop this key. If you don't have Smite, you have to have Bring Low. I mean, the Squire Alice has stopped the key. But they're also not killing creatures. Oh, and Grey Rider, yeah. I was going to say, if we don't see him pull his archives here, this is probably... Then that's followed up by a Crushing Charge. And again, you not getting the key this turn, I think is really brutal for Sith. Discards Fangs. Not getting any value out of that here. Discards the Angry Mob. Do you not want any creatures on the board? Guess he's just expecting to get Crushing Charged here, or is looking for something with the Angry Mob's Orb coming down is pretty good, except it probably gets hit by Mollymawk next turn. Champion gets a Smite in. Or a Grey Rider. There's a squire. Okay, so Key is successfully stopped. There's the smite. Okay. So that'll take out the Faust. Put some damage on old Bruno. And get you another font capture onto Gluttony. Oh, must have the Grey Rider. Okay, so it's going to be able to kill off the Bruno, but I think Dammat still has the spoils, right? Oh no, spoils is in discard now. Okay. So there's the Grey Rider. Going to take out the Bruno. Your keys are still taxed by the Faust, but not if a crushing charge comes down. I think you got to capture this on Gluttony. Yeah. Okay. I think Sith has stabilized a little bit. Very fast Untamed call here from Dammat. So maybe doesn't have the crushing charge, and so it's just going to do the persistence hunting. You have to persistence hunting the Gluttony here, which feels... Yeah, because you still won't be able to use it with the Grey Rider. So yeah, that doesn't feel great because you just get total reap out from... sorry. Total reap out from the Sanctum here. So steals one off the ritual. Mollymawk takes out the orb. That's fair. Oops. I don't want to take the tide. Reaper So. Power. Oh, we got the Waste Knot still. Okay. So it does get a redraw there. That should be now the persistence hunting if you didn't have it before. Right? I'm not going crazy. Yeah. Heliobe. Flumph. Well, it would have been really crazy if he was able to play the persistence hunting twice, but didn't quite get there. Console comes down. There it is. Yeah, this has to be the Gluttony now, right? Yeah, okay. Gets to 4, not too bad, but again, this Sanctum can reap pretty well. Oh, you do have the spoils back now. Don't necessarily know if we've drawn it or not, but Faust probably dies, which makes the spoils less effective, but still not bad. Get a Logos turn from Sith. I can't imagine you're getting to check here. Maybe he wants to get the Discombobulator down. I mean, there's probably a decent amount of logo stuff in that archive, so after pulling the big archive, you're going to have a lot of this stuff that you just got to get out of hand. Discombobulator goes on champion, feels fine. But I don't think you're getting to check here, which feels rough. Diametric can kill the Faust, that's good. You do set up a Seeker Needle on Primus. Clone. I think he wanted to dump his hand of Logos. He feels like he needs to get back to some other amber control cards, because if this gets blown up, right, it's a decent amber total for Dammat. But yeah, and Dammat has, if Dammat has spoils and Ungus, he is able to crushing charge one-sided pretty easily. So I think like it might be correct. It just feels real bad not getting to check here. Because that spoils having the capture pip on it just makes it so good, especially with the crushing charge and Unguis. Yeah, I think those 3 cards are a massive turnaround in this game. The problem is it puts another amber on Gluttony. Because that puts you to 7, 8. I would just go shadows here. Yeah. No spoils and no crushing. Why would you say that? You're still going to get the check here. Oh, I guess the big thing about that is it means that Gluttony gets to reap this turn now, which probably will be game. Especially since you can Dominator Bobble the Grey Rider to fight off the old Bruno too. So this should be a fast disc call for Sith, because you can fight, kill the old Bruno, capture one on Gluttony from the font, reap with Gluttony, go up to a lot of amber, play whatever else you got. Might just have the Hysteria and Infernuses again. The Infernuses don't really do anything here. You can you can purge the old Bruno, I guess. But yeah, that should be. I won't say it's game, because what do you go up to? You get 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that's got to be game. Woof. That's game 3 is going to be. It might not be grindy if one deck just goes crazy and they bid too high or something, but oh, this is a long one. Okay, goes for the Gluttony Reap first. I do think you actually get more, because you also get one more captured on Gorvenal if you do the fights first. I think you're supposed to fight there, but I don't think it'll matter. Especially if he has the Hysteria here. He did pull the Archive, so it's pretty likely he's got it. Well, you can't Hysteria unless you have Waking Nightmare. You need to kill something to get the font. Oh, or you just play Wrath, which has the capture pip on it. Yeah, I think Reaping with Gluttony first was definitely, like, especially if you got this capture pip too, you could have gotten a lot more amber here. Although you do, oh no, you can't reap with it again because the Grey Rider doesn't let you reap with it. It will just have to fight. It's not a fight reap. Yeah. It's been a long game, so I could see that being like, you just know you got to do the Gluttony, but definitely should have done it a little later here. So now this will probably be fight into Bruno. Yeah. Yeah, gets the extra capture on Gorvenal too. Get the font capture. Woof. All right, guys. How many chains? How many chains are we thinking? It's too many. Whatever it is. This third game is going to be a little bit of a slog, I think. Eight max. After game 1, I would have thought maybe a little bit more, but game 2 it definitely looked closer. If you're able to, yeah, do the creature control a little bit better and hold that borrow for a little bit and stuff. Definitely changes the game. Yeah, especially when we see like the amber control can be a little bit dicier than you think at first. Okay, I don't know if we need to play all the things here. Let's get this done. Gosh, the Faust with the spoils. Can he actually stop it here? There's the crushing charge. That does stop the key. Oh my goodness. This is ridiculous. Just let it be done. $20 turns. So should have, could just have the fangs here. This Reap and Hysteria, yeah, that would do it. Because it didn't get discarded, right? Okay, we do get the disc call. Uses an Anafiel first this time, but Anafiel can't fight anything because they're all massive. Unless he's planning to fight something, but fight, you can only kill the Faust here. But that does get you one more font trigger. It doesn't do it. Woof. It's been too long of a game. Maybe he doesn't have the Hysteria. Spoils should be gone now. Crushing Charge is gone now. Yeah, maybe he didn't have it. Yeah. Okay, Untamed means it's game, right? You're not stopping 13 Amber and Untamed. Yeah, the artifact control also is even bigger in the chain game. And makes a lot of Amber here, though. Almost did it again, but Yeah, the waste not loop. That's also something interesting to see with this deck, but only if you get 21 cards purged. Yeah, some things were missed there, but that's one of the things you can do better in the next game if you end up with that deck. Be interesting to see what happens with the chain bidding here. All right, we're at 1-1 on to game 3. Yep. Okay, so we got a guess of 8 chains. Yeah. Yeah, I could see. What do you want to find? I guess like, yeah, especially if you get like if you find the wrong disc stuff early with the deck, that could feel really bad, like just having to play your Infernuses as creatures, basically, like just vanilla. I feel like it's weird because I kind of wonder if it's it's a matchup where I feel like Dammat probably really wants to play his deck. And so Sith might be able to just push the chains because of that. We'll see if Sith joins. All right. Let's see what happens here. Sith starts at 3. Could see Dammat just bumping up to 6 or 7 here. I also don't know if the UI changes have helped the weird things where you can't actually bid as high as you want to. I'd guess that's coming soon if they haven't. I wonder what these eyes are supposed to mean. They don't have hover overs or anything. So yeah, it goes up to 6. Sith goes right back to 7 pretty quick here. I don't think it's 7. The other thing we didn't see from the DT deck is if that old Patty gets going early on, maybe that doesn't even matter. Like I think again, like Sith purging the two standardized would have changed that game a lot. Not getting the Primus purged early on would have changed that game a lot. Not getting like the Faust purge, like I think there's some interesting things there that a lot was maybe learned in that second game for both sides, that could make this actually a higher chain bid, if the players actually are playing the MM deck more optimally. I don't know what else you do with the DT deck. You just have to survive. Like I said, getting the old Patty out fast could be good unless the standardized come out early, and then it just doesn't really matter. Trying to protect some of those cards and making sure you're getting value out of the cards you're playing so that they don't just get purged for nothing. It's probably one of the big ones. So it's at 9. I could see this being the stop. I'm not feeling maybe confident with the DT deck. Or it'll just bump up to 12 as a power move. We'll see. We're waiting. Waiting on the call. I feel like the pause is always so tough because it's like now your opponent knows this is about where you would stop. You're deciding if it's worth stopping here. Because if you bid again from here, Sith's going to be like, oh yeah, you can have it at that. Since it was such a hard decision. Maybe not. Maybe you just bid again right away. Make him choose again. But like this deck can also just flounder in the early game if you have a bunch of that sorry and stuff that you don't want to like discard or play early on, and you just have to either hold it or whatever. Wow. Dammat goes 10, Sith goes right back to 12. Yeah, it could be a bluff. That's fair. 12 chains. Feels like a lot. Yeah. Okay, changing the first player to be Sith. $12 seems a little high, but a lot of it just like we said, I think Sith will probably play the deck better after seeing some of those the results of some of those things from last game. Does get to start with a 5-card hand here, right? So you can at least do some searching for the right stuff. But what do you want to start with here? Like, again, you can't play the autoencoder until the borrow is purged, basically. Causal loop is probably fine to find. We do see he mulligans here. So does Dammat. Sith will be on turn 1. You want to probably just find some of like the big creatures or something, or some of your other artifacts. Like, you don't want to just get everything borrowed either. Maybe it's just Gluttony turn 1. Called it. Here's my big boy. Come try and kill him. Mookling, Reaper Sow. I mean, Gluttony does just reap here for 2. It doesn't seem terrible. Sith on a 4-card hand now. I mean, you have to make some tough decisions when you're on this small of a hand, right? It's like sometimes you're just going to be discarding cards. Probably trying to think how many ways this Gluttony could get killed and lose the Amber. Yeah, he's just going to reap with it. Get that value. I mean, if you find like Pride here, that's one of the things we haven't seen Pride really make a big difference there. Infernus will get the Reaper, so feels fine. Get some more board presence. Does not draw into another discard. Dammat going back into Untamed here. It's interesting. We get Chelonia down, Reap with the Mookling. Oof. Yeah, so this is hard for Sith now. Oh, unless you have the standardized. Or 2 diametrics. Do you have the second one? Uh-oh. Yikes. This could hurt a lot. Leaving that Chelonia alive is real scary. Oh, Dammat taking chains to take the tide, though. Need to get that Chelonia value. Maybe that's what Sith was kind of thinking. I was like, okay, I can leave it alive for a turn. It's going to get some value, but he's got to take chains to get the tide. But I mean, Sith has to kill that now. And now, with those one-eyed willows down, the one standardized doesn't do it. Sack of coins here. Going to take out the gluttony and get the check. We also need to kill these one-eyed willows, right? Could be a smite here. We see the fast sanctum call. Okay, Squire Alice is going to stop the key, but these one-eyed willows are just going to... Oh, it does have the smite. Can only kill one of them because of the elusive here. But I think you got a smite here. Kill the Chelonia. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit of triage there, but leaving the one-eyed willow alive does not feel great. You've also got the Seeker Needle hit on Infomorph here. Yeah, we get to see a fast Shadows call back for Dammat. Get some value. Fights the Infernus, only thing that really matters with the damage here. Kills off the Infomorph. Walk the plank for another steal. Goes up to 7. Okay, some early value. Again, this Squire Alice dies to any crushing charge that comes out, so that's some amber back. Gluttony in the discard already. Means a lot of this captured amber is going to be really hard for Sith to remove. And for Sith, there's not many pips in the discard. Getting the sack of coins to feel pretty good if he finds another Infernus here. But that's about it. You can hit a little bit of your own discard here. You can hit a diametric charge, I think, but Wrath for the capture. So if you got another Infernus, you can stop this key. Looks like maybe a Hysteria here. Hysteria gives back the amber though, so it's probably not stopping the key. Yeah, no, it wouldn't stop the key because this captured amber goes back to. Dominator's good. I think that's one of those ones that's going to be hard for Dammat to decide whether it's worth stealing or just leaving it there. We do see the second Furnace coming down, so this will get some nice stuff. So Dammat now really needs to find some creature control. Again, one crushing charge here does plenty. And we do see the fast starring call. There's the crushing charge. Faust comes down. Plays the spoils. That's also a scary one, but 2 Infernus gone 2 here with that crushing charge. Fast logos call for Sith playing the autoencoder. All right. He's going for it. Does get the purge on the Faust here. This is going to be a key for Dammat, though. I mean, some good stuff purged, but it was a bold move playing that autoencoder. There's the Shadows call. There's the borrow. Yikes. Yeah, that hurts. I don't know that this deck wants to like discard a ton. You still need to be playing creatures, right, to be able to get like stuff on the board, and not a very impactful turn otherwise, but that definitely hurts for Sith. Going back into Dis again, so really trying to build up a Sanctum turn here maybe. There's the Infernus, is going to get that borrow and spoils. Feels pretty good to get rid of. Oh, it does not get the borrow. Spoils and crushing charge. Okay. So maybe has the Hysteria here? No. Gonna hope it stays alive for the Hysteria. Otherwise, the rest of that discard is pretty much safe for Dammat. until the flip. And he can flip probably faster than Sith now with this autoencoder if he wants to. Crazy. What do you do here? I wonder if you do just start discarding a bunch to try and build up archives and flip the deck really fast. Just let Sith have this board for a couple turns. Especially since you're a key ahead already. What are you discarding though? Because I mean, like, you can discard things like the Primus, anything that's going to get killed by those standardized testings. Yeah, discards Myliobi, discards Flumph, gets the ritual balance down. Be the whole turn here. Oh, plays a Mollymawk to get rid of the Dominator Bauble too. Yeah, this is not looking good for Sith. Ooh. Angry Mob Fighting could flip the deck, but we do see the Smite already in discard, so it's going to have to be... Oh, it has the other Angry Mob, so not going to be able to do that. No Grey Rider either. Actually, yeah, you could actually flip the deck there just by fighting with the Angry Mob. Still a threat with that. So Dammat needs the second Crushing Charge. He goes into Saurian. Could also be the Tertiate. Gets the Imperial Road down. Also very good for the efficiency of this deck. Although the Faust is gone. Does he have it? Gonna discard some cards here. Discards a Tertiate. Yeah, so doing all that, getting rid of stuff from hand first so that the Inspector still hits Persistence Hunting, which is not great. That's a card you don't mind to be able to deal with Gluttony when it comes down, but getting rid of those Angry Mobs again gives Sith a much slower flip of the deck here. And Dammat already almost through the deck, has 5 in archives. On the last chain, oh no, not chained anymore, but oh yeah, no, loses the last chain there. I was gonna say it was the Inspector, but he killed it on his turn, so. Okay, Sith going into Logos. This will probably just be standardized here. Vision Bloom for some extra amber off of my Diametric Charge. Yeah, that's a good call too. There's no more Infernuses to even play with the Hysteria, so that Hysteria is basically going to be a dead card until you flip the deck. Has to discard the discombine. I think you maybe can play that to get to check here. Just throw it on the Mollymawk. Your deck doesn't steal. So you don't really care about giving that to this thing, especially if you're hoping to kill it with standardized sometime soon. All right, Dammat's turn. Gonna try and just keep turning and burning here. Wonder what, like, when do you pull the archives? I kind of wonder if, except you had to discard a lot of Untamed already, if you want to just try to wait until you have a decent Untamed turn with the Chelonia, just burst with that. Because again, that's kind of where the Infernuses don't even really stop that Amber well anyways. Does go back into Untamed here. Doesn't have the Ritual play. Gets the Primus Unguist down. Again, both of these will die to 1 standardized at the moment. Might be more discards. What else do you have left? Waste Knot? I don't think we've seen the Waste Knot yet. Yeah. Waste Knot does flip the deck here. There it is. Interesting. Plays these instead of discarding them for more archives. Does get the old Patty down. Again, I don't... It's more of a threat if you can get the... If you can find the Chelonia. Not a crazy card in this matchup, except a lot of your non-creature cards getting purged here means you're going to have a higher density of creatures for this old Patty to hit. And this does play them. Yeah, so they definitely count for the Chelonia. All right. What do you do if you're Sith here? You're sitting on... I mean, what do you have left even? Pride is still in there. Waking Nightmare, Hysteria. There's a double Doom. That's not bad. Get this old Patty out of there. Discarding Reach Advantage, also not bad. Bonesaw. Nothing else. Yeah, these are some... I mean, you're going to be on some clunky turns for the rest of this draw through, I think. You'll still have some Amber control in Sanctum, but I think the mod's kind of home free to just start trying to make as much Amber as he can here. Goes into Saurian. This could just be some more discards for archiving. Yeah, there goes the Crushing Charge. What else is he sitting on? Wipe Clear? Oh yeah, okay, plays the Wipe Clear. So it doesn't quite get to check there, but on an archive of 8 now. Sith going into Logos. Could just be a board clear here. Fission Bloom into Diametric Charge for some Amber, so it does get to check. See if that sticks, but there's got to be a decent amount of shadows now for Dammat here. I don't know if you pulled the archives yet or not, but Dammat does go into shadows, pulls the archives. Early birds for some Amber. Borrows the Fission Bloom. Oh, that's a bummer you can't use the Fission Bloom on the early birds. That would have been crazy. Discards the Chelonia. That is not ideal, but I mean, Sith will have the Bring Low, right? We haven't seen that yet. Yeah, this will be some Sanctum. Might be able to stop the key here, but still 7 cards left in the deck, so may not even have the Bring Low right now. Booby Trap for more Amber. Does stop the key, notably as well, off of that Ransack. Oh, gonna stop the key anyways with all this capture. Gets down the Pterodactyl, which is gonna block at least one standardized testing from hitting that old Bruno. It's the mole on his own creature, just for the Amber. It's a huge turn there. Kills the Monty Bank, gets an extra Amber. So, I mean, Sith needs Bring Low next turn. This is a Logos turn here. Yeah, standardized, gonna wipe the board mostly. Gets the Munchling down, and that's it. Dammat starting the turn on 8. Probably has a good chunk of Untamed in hand right now. But yeah, this has not gone well for Sith. All of this disc stuff way earlier than you want to see, I think. Having to deal with creatures early on. And there we just get the concession from Sith. Yeah, brutal game 3. Oh, still didn't draw the Bring Low either. 12 was, I'll say it was probably too high. I don't know if way too high, because we were already guessing like 8 or 9. the autoencoder play was definitely questionable. But with that draw, especially 12 is really rough. You gotta find your other houses earlier than your dis is kind of one of the things I think that needs to happen in the chain game here. You have to find that later. Yeah, thank you all for hanging on watching. I am gonna cut this off pretty quick here and go get some dinner and stuff. But congrats to Mott on making it to the next round. Congrats on Sith on an amazing season still. I think this is, again, his only loss this entire season so far. So still a great season. But yeah, we'll see you good and Dammat in the next round. Can't promise I'll be able to stream that one, but let me know the time and I'll see what I can do. So should be fun. But congrats to Dammat again. Let me just update this here for a second. And that'll be it. We'll see you all next time on Phlox'em and some KAGI matches. Take care, everybody.